poem was The Unknown Soldier. And the poem starts out by saying that there's a graveyard at the White House where the unknown soldier lies. And the flowers there are sprinkled with the tears from mother's eyes. I stood there not too long ago with roses for the brave, when suddenly I heard a voice speak from out the grave. It says, I am the unknown soldier, the spirit voice began. And I think I have the right to ask some questions, man to man. Were my buddies taken care of? Was their victory so sweet? Is that big reward you offered selling pencils on the street? And it goes on and on. And finally it gets to the last verses. It says, I wonder if the profiteers who planned it all are satisfied. They played their game of checkers and 11 million died. I am the unknown soldier, and maybe I died in vain. But if I were alive and my country called, I'd do it all over again. I get emotional when I say that poem.
Today, the Laredo Independent School District has the honor of recognizing Reynaldo Luis Adame Jr., a veteran of the United States Marine Corps. Mr. Adame was born in 1940, and he is a native of San Diego, Texas. In 1959, he joined the Marine Corps, and after boot camp, he was assigned to the Naval Ammunition Depot in Bremerton, Washington.
I reported to Bremerton on the 22nd of December of 1959. I had never been to Washington. I'd never seen trees that were that big. And from San Diego, mesquite, prickly pear and that stuff, to Bremerton. And it was a beautiful place. And the food was great. And the facility was excellent. And our job was to patrol the 1,800 acres that made up the Naval Ammunition Depot.
Mr. Adame was a good typist during that part of his life. He tells us about another assignment he received because of this skill.
The drill instructor told us the day before we went for this training, and he said, if you all can type, you better not let them know that you can type, because they'll make you an office pinky. Office pinkies were Marines that work in an office. And they gave me 31 words a minute when I got through there, and so I was an office pinky. So I went to work in a section typing orders for temporary additional duty for Marines that were traveling someplace and would be gone for a week or 10 days or sometime. And I didn't like the job. I wanted to go out and run the hills with the 5th Marines. The 5th Marines, are the elite, or they have the history of being a great unit. I did that for a while, and then one night I had been to town and came back kind of late, and I was crawling in my rack, and it was cold and misty outside, and I could hear the explosions way off, and I thought to myself, hey dummy, you're better off here than you are out there, because those poor Marines out there, they slept in a pup tent, and they'd have to dig little channels around the tent so the water wouldn't get in the water. It's very tough to be an infantry Marine. And so then I got gung-ho doing good work.
After his time in the military, Mr. Adame spent 25 years working as a federal probation officer. One of his assignments was working for Judge George Kazin.
So working for Judge Kazin was one of the greatest things that ever happened to me. He was very knowledgeable. We would get together and go over these cases that he was going to sentence. And he used the Socratic method of teaching. He would ask questions. He knew the answer, but he wanted to make sure that I knew the answers. So we'd go through all of that. And but he was a man for whom I had great respect.
Thank you, Reynaldo Adame. Laredo ISD salutes you for your service to our country.